Matt said that he that he didn't know kissing with his eyes open was wrong. Matt, Matt, what? Why? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And so today's video is going to be by the Women Tell All, and this is just one episode before the season finale, and what feels like such a long, dramatic, annoying season is almost over. And so the Women Tell All, it didn't have too many of the female contestants. In fact, there were a lot of people missing. I took note of it. Sarah was missing, even though Sarah was taken up 2 episodes because she was crying about her father having oh my gosh, what's it called, ALS. Yeah, her father having ALS and her missing home, but also interrupting the girls' group dates to talk to Matt, and there was this whole dramatic thing. She eventually leaves, so the fact that Sarah didn't come on was really interesting to explain, how she felt about that. And Maggie wasn't there. Maggie was so gorgeous. She is gorgeous, beautiful. She was the girl from Ethiopia, a pharmacist, and she got very little screen time, unfortunately. I really wish we got to know more of her, but she wasn't there. Lauren, she was a lawyer. I think she made it to maybe week 4. Matt gave her a group date rose, but that was pretty much it. Lauren is gorgeous anyway, but she wasn't there. Alicia, okay, I'm putting mostly people that I liked. But Alicia, she got eliminated on night 1. She was the professional ballerina and she wasn't there. I would have loved to see her. Honestly, I wish she actually made it past night 1, because they gave her an interview edit that we saw on the first episode, but then she got eliminated and we never saw her again, unfortunately. Kim was also one of the new girls. She was the Asian American girl, and she got eliminated as soon as she got to Nemacolin. Unfortunately, she wasn't there. And oh my god, who else wasn't there? Okay, Heather was there, and we saw the back of her head, but the producers did everything to edit her face or her reactions out from the episode. So they brought her there, but didn't give us, the audience, a chance to see how she felt about how the girls treated her in the house when she came to the rose ceremony, talking about Hannah Brown said you and I would be good together. I don't know why she would go and like now, or why the producers just put her in. Her whole storyline was messed up. So yeah, they didn't address that. There was a lot they didn't address. But they had most of the show, I think it was about like an hour, 46 minutes or something. Most of it was dedicated to the drama. And even then, they didn't address everything. So there was a lot of emotional gaslighting by Victoria. So Victoria, as you all saw, she was cursing girls out, talking about they need to go home. No one's better than me. I'm the queen, whatever. She would be like calling girls hoes and sluts. And she particularly called one of the new girls, Ryan, who's a professional dancer, a hoe. And when Ryan confronted her, she was like, oh, you're so emotional. You're being sensitive. And I was like, are you for real? How's she being sensitive? You called her a hoe for no reason. And Ryan was just like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? And Victoria tried to defend herself, saying that, she was just being overly dramatic. And then, so she never apologized to Ryan, or we never saw it, because the editors cut out a lot. Not just on the season in general, but they cut out a lot from the Women Tell All. But when Victoria and Katie, who went at it at one point when Katie was calling out the bullying, Katie and Victoria, the Women Tell All, were going at it, but Victoria apologized to Katie. How come she didn't apologize to Ryan, a woman of color, but apologized to Katie, who was not? I thought that was interesting. And then speaking of Katie, I'm sick of her side part. I don't think it does her any justice. I feel like it just doesn't frame her face. I honestly think she'd be better with the middle part. And I don't know. Katie, I kind of wish, no, I wish she went home during night one. I really did. I didn't think the dildo bit she did was cute at all. I didn't find it quirky. I didn't find it funny. Chelsea got in some trouble saying that there was no toxicity in the house. There was no drama in the house. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Chelsea said that, I was like, huh? Because from what we saw on TV, there was a lot of drama and toxicity coming from Victoria, MJ, and Anna, with them, being mean girls and saying a bunch of stuff. But at the same time, Katie, the whole time she was, telling Matt and apparently confronting the drama, I felt that she was a bit self-righteous in her actions. I felt as if she was focusing so much on, oh, I'm gonna be the good girl, I'm gonna show Matt that I don't tolerate bullying. I'm gonna show Matt that I'm such a kind, sweethearted, headstrong girl. I felt like she was not focusing on, being with Matt, and it was more of, how can I make myself look good? And obviously it worked because Katie got so much screen time, and the Bachelor producers pretty much gave her a Bachelorette edit. She was in the hot seat, and Katie basically said, I haven't found my person. I'm 30. I just want to be myself. Okay, personally, I feel like Katie is a guy's girl, like the type of girl that's like, oh, I'm not like other girls. I'm just chill, I like eating hot dogs and sports, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like she's one of those types of girls that purposely like emphasize that she's not like other girls, she can get down and be chill. It's like, you don't have to explain yourself to be that way. And Matt definitely saw that in her, because her one-on-one date wasn't even close to romantic. I mean, he brought his best friend on their supposed date, and we already knew she was getting eliminated. But yeah, the girls pretty much were like mad at Katie. At one point, Mari, who was eliminated, like I want to say around the 4th week too, Mari was like, she kind of defended Victoria. She was like, well, Victoria, I was rooming with her, and she can be funny, but sometimes she goes too far. And Katie was like, are you for real? And they were going back at it. Chelsea was like, the whole toxicity. And considering the way this season has been heavily edited, in fact, throughout the Women Tell All, they were showing us behind the scenes, bloopers. There were 3 group dates they cut. Tasia and JoJo were, and Ben Higgins, they were all guest hosts for the different group dates. And I was just like, why did you cut all this footage? And most of the girls, when they were arguing with Katie, they pretty much emphasized that, look, like, this is very heavily edited. And I got the impression that there's some stuff about Katie that she's not this champion for women's rights or persona that she's trying to portray. Not to say that there wasn't toxicity and bullying in the house, but I feel like she used that as an opportunity to make herself look good. Not that, because even when Katie was going at these girls, right, saying, and people were raving at her, I mean, the audience, a lot of members of the audience are like, Team Katie. The people she was apparently standing up for, Ryan, who was called a hoe by Victoria, and Brittany, who was rumored to be an escort, having the rumor spread around the house that she was an escort by Anna and MJ, they didn't seem to thank Katie. And when I checked the Instagrams of most of the girls that were at the Women Tell All, not a lot of them follow Katie. They follow each other, including Abigail, Mari, Maggie, MJ. I don't know about Victoria because I don't follow her. But Serena C, was it Jasenia? Maybe. But Chelsea, they all follow each other, but most of them don't follow Katie. So I was just like, there's clearly something we're not seeing. And maybe Katie isn't as nice, or as perfect as the way the Bachelor producers are portraying her and the way she portrays herself. Because the girls were pretty much implying that, look, like, you don't see everything. In fact, Mari on her Instagram was like, you don't see everything, Don't make us to be like the bad guys all the time, that, nobody was perfect. And maybe the drama, what they implied was maybe the drama wasn't as intense the way they were making it seem. So I thought that was interesting. So they finally brought Matt out, and Matt said that he that he didn't know kissing with his eyes open was wrong. Matt, Matt, what? Why? And Matt, he talked about there was some unseen footage that we got to see where Matt's talking to Abigail because she asked him what his first or when his first kiss was, and Matt said it was in 7th grade, and that the girl he had a crush on was like the head of the cheerleading team, so probably like middle school cheerleading team, and he said he kissed her for the first time, and the girl's lip bled because he bit too hard. And I was like, Matt, clearly nothing has changed because not only does Matt kiss with his eyes open, he genuinely looks like he can't kiss. Like his mouth just overpowers the other girls. It doesn't, it just, bad, just terrible. He needs lessons. He still needs lessons. Like I watched when he told Abigail that, I was like, that makes sense why he is, that makes a lot of sense. Matt, you need lessons. And clearly he's a bit embarrassed by it, and he learned that, okay, I need to close my eyes. He was like, I just want to make eye contact and connect. I was like, okay, connect a different time maybe, but that's kind of creepy. You just staring at them like with a little side eye, your eyes half closed, like come on now. Don't do that, Matt. And then Abigail, she was on the hot seat, and Abigail basically, she was like, oh, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and to Matt and to the show. And Abigail talked about her deaf condition, about how she feels like she's in the gray area because she doesn't use sign language to communicate. She can only read lips, but she does have a cochlear implant in her ear that she says if she takes it out, she can't hear at all, but the implant helps her hear. And I thought, I mean, I like Abigail. I find Abigail really sweet, and I found her explanation about her deaf condition really interesting. Like, I didn't know anything about that. And I mean, oh, Abigail. I hope she's living life right now. And Matt, pretty much, I think he spoke to Abigail. She said, oh, thank you for being on the show. Matt thanked her or whatever. But as Matt was talking to some of the women he broke up with, okay, like Piper, right? And Piper was on the hot seat. Piper pretty much said, you know, I put my emotions on the line. And, okay, Chris Harrison asked Piper if Piper was in love with Matt. And Piper paused, and I was kind of looking at her. I was like, nah, you don't love him. But she was like, I was in love with him. So I was like, okay, if you say so. I don't know. But I will say that whether she is true she's in love with him or not, Piper did seem more into Matt than he was into her. Maybe like Piper seemed more, just a little bit more emotionally connected to him than he was to her. And when Matt is on the hot seat, Piper asked him like, hey, so why did you break up with me? Because Piper was pretty close to hometowns. She got eliminated right before hometowns. And she had a one-on-one date with Matt, so she thought everything was going well. And we saw during the show on one of the group dates, while Piper was giving her one-on-one, when Matt just snuck over to her one-on-one interview at the group dates, and Matt was making out with her. So I'm like, poor girl probably got mixed signals. And Matt needs to chill. I feel like he gives these girls way too many mixed signals. Way too many mixed signals. Anytime he's breaking up the girls, his hand is still on their leg. And I'm like, that's such a dick move. Like, you're breaking up with someone and you're still putting your hand on their leg as if you're feeling them, as if you're, attracted to them. Like, you're giving out mixed signals. And he has a way, I think Matt has a way of using his words to lead girls on, even though he tells them, oh, I'm not trying to lead you on. He tells every girl the same thing. Oh, I'm falling for you. Oh, I like you. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I feel like it messes with the girls' heads, and it's kind of fuckboy energy. So yeah, it's very player move. But Piper pretty much asked him, she was like, why did you break up with me? And he was like, look, like, I'm just moved. I had better connections with the other women. So Piper, she looked at him like, she looked like she wasn't satisfied with that answer, but really what else was he supposed to say? Because he did have more connections with the other women. Just unfortunate that you kind of got played, but it happens, and you're on the show, and now you have some followers, so you didn't really lose like that. And then Matt and Serena P, they talked about it because Serena P self-eliminated during hometowns, and Serena P, Chris Harrison, he asked her, he's like, do you still love him or do you regret breaking up? And she was like, she doesn't in the end, that she believes that Matt deserves someone who's all in with him, and that she hopes he's happy. And Matt kind of looked like he was a bit sad when she said that, and maybe he's not happy because there's a lot of spoilers that have been leaked about how Matt and Rachel broke up not too long ago because of all the gossip and the news we heard about her going to that plantation party and all the racist family members and all that type of stuff. So I don't. Yeah, he seems like he was pretty disappointed. Also, Matt has a huge beard now, and I don't think it looks that bad, to be honest. I mean, it's his natural hair. Like, if Matt would grow an afro, his beard would look exactly. His beard matches that. Like, if he would grow his hair on an afro, that's his natural hair. I thought his beard looked soft. Yes, it's bushy, but like that's his natural hair. So I don't see what the big deal is. So people are like, oh my god, it's so disgusting. I'm like, it's his hair. Like, relax, man. Relax. Okay? Not that big of a deal. Serena P, yeah, her eyelashes were way too big, in my opinion. The fake eyelashes, I think they were bigger than they needed to be. But other than that, she looked cute. Like, the hair was glamorous and whatnot. And Victoria was trying to do that whole redemption cry. Like, oh, I was really insecure and I'm not the way I am. And Matt, him being the person he is, I felt he gave grace too much to her. He talked about, oh, I know your heart. And I feel like he always says that towards the white women, towards the white contestants. He's always like, oh, I know her. I know your heart. He said the same thing when Hannah Brown, who is his best friend now, when Hannah Brown was rapping to a song that she liked and she had said the N-word and with a hard R, and Matt was the first person to defend her and be like, look, like, I know her heart. She's not malicious. And I could get into the whole, what I call it, controversy or complex argument about whether whether rappers should be using the N-word in their songs or not, and there's a whole debate on that, but I'm not going to get into it. But I feel like Matt always says this, particularly to the white woman, like he's quick to forgive. And I don't know, maybe it's because he's also half white, his mom is white, so there are certain things that don't bother him as much. But at the same time, like, what else would need to be done after that? She can't take back saying that word. And Victoria and all these girls that were being mean and bullies, at this point, what is he gonna do? Like, he doesn't control her, so he was just like, okay. But yeah, I'm really tired of Victoria. Also, Victoria, I think she really loves bras. Like, I think she loves that particular bra because at the Women Tell All, again, she wore this like suit jacket and her bra was like the top, and it wasn't cute. Like, if that was the attempt she was going for, it wasn't even like a cute bra. She needs to give it up. And she was talking about how people were making fun of her and also sending death threats, which I don't agree with. You know, no matter how much you dislike a person, there's no need to give death threats, okay? Like, people are doing the most. These people are reality TV stars, okay? They're there for entertainment, maybe for love, and the producers and the editors largely are responsible for how we view these people. They cherry pick what's gonna cause the most attention, the most drama, and we don't fully know who they are. Again, not excusing Victoria's behavior, because I'm sorry, she's disrespectful and rude, and she says she's insecure. Okay, you could be insecure, but put those insecurities on yourself. Don't put those insecurities on other people and just disrespect them and calling them hoes and sluts and being absolutely rude. That's not an excuse. So Victoria could go somewhere else with that redemption cry. I'm just gonna say that this, at the end, the Women Tell All was just, it was really boring. Like, I kept checking for time. Like, this is still going on. And towards the end, we saw previews for the finale, and thank God this is almost over. And one thing I thought was really uncomfortably interesting was that Matt's dad apparently comes on the show, and Matt's dad is like, you know what I had to go through with your mother. And considering that the producers edited so much of the season that we didn't really get to see Matt's personality, that he was a lot funnier and sillier, and they just edited all of that out of the show, that there were more cute moments between the ladies than the drama moments sometimes. When Matt talked about his dad, he basically said that his dad is not in his life, that he doesn't have any type of communication with his dad. If you go on Matt's Instagram, anytime it's Mother's Day and Father's Day, he always says Happy Father's Day to his mom. And I thought it was weird now that his dad ends up on the show. How could his dad be there if they don't even have a relationship? And I think that's messed up. I don't know whether producers just brought his dad without his knowledge, and if they did, hella messed up, or if Matt brought him there for some reason. It's just a shame. And I don't like how the producers are perpetuating this stereotype of the absent black father. I mean, they couldn't have chose someone that didn't have this story arc, oh, biracial black man, absent black father who has never been in love before. Like, stereotypes after stereotypes. And we never even got to see if Matt had any discussions about race with the girls. We saw a glimpse of it. Even him being a Christian, he prayed once. We never saw anything after that pertains to him being a Christian. Like, we didn't get to see more of his personality, what he likes, what he doesn't like, or the girls. We didn't get to see any more of the things they liked, they didn't like. It was more, let's share this trauma story and let's have drama and cattiness. So, yeah, the Women Tell All was a mess. It was just not much worth watching. I can't wait for this season to be over. And honestly, I was never that big of a Bachelor fan anyway, compared to other people who are like super fans. They've watched since the beginning. I was never that fan. I got introduced to the show when I was in college by some friends, and even then, like, I knew the show was pretty much a white-centered show, and I didn't really have a problem with that because I was just watching it because it was fun. Like, sometimes I watch some reality TV shows because it's fun. And I started watching during Ari's season. I've never watched a Bachelorette season. I've only watched the Bachelor seasons. I watched Ari's, I watched Colton's, I watched Peter's, which was terrible, but then Matt's season just takes the cake. And I probably won't watch anymore. I mean, I feel like they didn't give Matt a chance at all to have any type of relationships, if that's what he wanted, because I don't know if he's that serious about being in a relationship. But they didn't give his season a chance. Like, they knowingly cast people who were problematic just to stir up drama, and they cut out so much of the dates. We never really got to see these girls' personalities or his personality. And now you're getting the whole Chris Harrison disrespecting Rachel Lindsay and defending Rachel Kirkconnell, and Taylor Nolan and Taylor Nolan and her messy, ignorant, and offensive tweets, and just a whole mess. And it's exhausting, and I don't got time for that. So I'm excited for Love is Blind season 2. I can't wait till that films. I think Netflix truly saved us during quarantine when Love is Blind came out. I'm excited for that. So yeah, if you like this video, please click that like button. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, click that subscribe button. I'm a little icon on the video. And join me for the finale, the ending of The Bachelor season 25. Matt James, will see who he picks and all the stuff that's gonna happen after the final rose. And can't wait for this to be done. So anyway, yeah, follow this channel, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye. Shining by the light of the diamonds.